I sat on my porch this morning, watching the fog lift from the trees, and it hit me. I am 80 years old. The silence in this house isn't just empty, it's a library of echoes. Over these 8 decades, I've watched the world change. But more importantly, I've watched people leave. Parents, siblings, lifelong friends. The person I thought would hold my hand until the very last second, they're all gone. At this age, you become a ghost in a world made for the young. They rush, worry, chase things that from here look like grains of sand. And sometimes they ask me, what is it like? Or they look at me with pity, as if being the last one standing is a tragedy. But there's a secret to being 80 that no one tells you until you arrive. When everything and everyone is gone, what remains isn't emptiness, it's the truth. The first thing I've learned is this: we never truly own anything or anyone. In my 40s and 50s, I thought my life was defined by what I built, my career, my home, my reputation. I guarded them as if they were permanent. But now, at 80, I look at my hands and realize they are empty. And that's okay. I've seen the homes I lived in sold. My professional legacy forgotten by people who weren't even born when I retired. What remains isn't the trophy on the shelf. It's the character you forged while chasing it. The people we love are only on loan to us. Spouses, children, friends, they aren't ours to keep. And when we accept that, grief changes. It transforms from feeling robbed into a quiet gratitude for the time we were given. What remains in the end is the love you gave. That love doesn't rot. It doesn't get sold. It lingers. When I was younger, I waited for the big moments. The promotion, the wedding, the vacation. I spent life staring at the horizon. But life isn't made of mountain peaks, it's made of the walk between them. If I could go back, I wouldn't seek more success. I would notice more. I would linger over a cup of coffee. I would listen to the birds with intent. The small, beautiful nothings turn out to be everything. One of the hardest parts of growing old is watching everyone leave. Our generation was taught to stay busy. Work, people, noise, anything to drown out our own thoughts. But at 80, you can't run anymore. Your knees won't let you. So you sit. And in that sitting, I discovered a strength I didn't know I had. What remains is your internal fortress. If you haven't built a relationship with yourself, old age will terrify you. But if you have, it becomes a sanctuary. I learned that I am enough. I've forgiven the man I was at 25, at 50. What remains is quiet peace with the person in the mirror. I am my own best friend, finally. People ask if I have regrets. Of course I do. Only a fool says otherwise. But at 80, I see the difference between regret and remorse. I regret the risks I never took. I regret the words of love I kept bottled up. But what hurts the most is remorse for the times I wasn't kind. We spend so much energy being right, arguing, holding grudges, protecting our egos. But being right is the loneliest victory in the world. What remains is the realization that kindness was always the correct answer. If you have someone to call today, call them, not to settle a score, but to say, I'm glad you're here. One day, they won't be, and the score won't matter. There is a strange grace in watching the world move on without you. At first, it felt bitter. I felt left behind. But then I realized, that's my role now, to witness. I see my grandson's eyes and my father's eyes staring back at me. I am one stitch in a long, living tapestry. My job isn't to lead the parade, but to cheer from the sidelines. There's freedom in letting go of the need to be important. What remains is joy, the joy of seeing life renew itself, knowing a part of your story is woven into the next generation. So, what remains when everyone is left? Gratitude. Fierce, heart-aching gratitude for the sheer impossibility of it all. That I got to be here. That I got to love, even if I lost. That I got to see 29,200 sunrises. I am 80, and I'm not afraid of the dark anymore, because I've realized the light never really goes away. It just moves to the next room. If you're listening, don't wait until you're 80 to find what remains. Look for it now, in the breath you just took, in the person across from you, in the quiet of your own heart. Thank you for sitting with me on this porch. If this spoke to you, share it with someone you love. And tell me, what is one thing you've learned to cherish as you've grown older?